Hey folks, as we said in the last part, we ended up breaking this video into several parts just due to timing reasons and the fact that the original video was darn near an hour. So enjoy part two where we talk about TV shows and be safe out there, people. Bye.
But there's so there so we're going to move on to TV shows to binge. Now, I spent a lot of time thinking about this because there's so many great TV shows. At first, I was going to say Taxi for a more retro comedy with a lot of big names on it. Like, for example, if you love Christopher Lloyd or Danny DeVito, this is how they got famous. But the more I thought about it, I thought, no, I'm going to give it to something a little bit newer. I'm going to give it to Gravity Falls. Now, if you're not familiar with this, it's usually described as Twin Peaks, but for kids.
Which is another reason I'm recommending it because kids are out of school right now with the virus going on, so this kind of gives them a good introduction to horror, similar to Are You Afraid of the Dark? Only it's got a really interesting ongoing mystery, so it also intrigued them if they're into mystery or just cool monsters designs. It's just a fun show for the whole family.
One day in a Best Buy, I just happened to see the DVD and I was like, oh, I've heard good things about this. I'll give it a go. And I ended up watching the entire series in a weekend. It's that good a quality. There's a great mystery that even if you're an adult, you're going to kind of be on your toes trying to figure out what happens. And just the comedic timing of this show is one of the best ones I've ever seen in my life.
Another I haven't seen, but I've always been intrigued by it. Because, yeah,
It's
I've only heard good things.
it's definitely worth a watch. I'll loan you the DVD sometime.
I've seen some of it, and what I can say I really liked.
Good deal.
And did you hear about like that whole, I guess, like secret scavenger hunt they did after the final episode?
Yeah. I keep hoping that they're gonna find one more thing that might lead to a movie or something. But he's moved on to other shows now, so I doubt it's gonna happen at this point. Since you guys haven't seen it, we won't spend too much time on this, but folks, definitely check out this show. You'll enjoy it. So, Kiki, what do you got?
I went for something that hits me right in those nostalgic feels.
Mhm.
It's Avatar: The Last Airbender, and no, not the god awful movie that we shall not discuss right now.
Nobody would have
Oh,
thought you were referring to that.
yeah, no. Whew. But the TV show, I was older when it came out. It's I guess it falls into like Gravity Falls with like the comedic timing, and the voice actors were top notch. Like they made these characters, just come to life and believable. I just, man, last summer my son and I watched it on repeat nonstop. We'd go through the whole series just over and over.
Speaking of which, Mark Hamill voices the main villain in that series, so that's a
That's
fun little
right.
kid. But yeah, I totally agree with Kiki. Like, the character growth throughout the show is incredible. Like, by the time you get to the last season and how epic the last couple episodes are, it's like, this is what Game of Thrones should have been for the final season.
I was gonna talk about that too.
But
This is how you end an epic series. There's several massive battles going on, and just it's visually speaking, it's perfect, absolutely perfect.
Oh yeah, no, and like just the rhythm of the series, like it doesn't feel like it slows down even when they are taking a break and just recuperating or have a filler episode. Even the filler episodes are pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'd say out of the entire series, there's only one bad episode. That's it.
What would that be?
and everybody
Uh,
makes a joke about it. You don't even need to say it. You people know which one you mean.
it's the past episode.
With the oh yeah,
Two tribes. Yeah.
yeah, that is definitely my least
They even made a
favorite.
joke about how much the audience hates that one.
Like yeah, exactly what he said during the play episode where they're watching the Fire Nation
Mm-hmm.
interpretation of them. Even the show creators threw in a, oh look, there's whatever the name was past. Let's skip over that.
Yes. See, I didn't hear that there was too much hate for that episode, but I definitely agree that that would be the least appealing.
Although I will say they follow up that episode with probably one of their best ones. So
Well, that was like the episode. You're talking about the season 1 episode. Never mind.
yeah, it's the season 1 episode where they actually go to the air temple.
Yeah, because I was thinking because like the play episode was the one right before the finale, but
Yeah,
that's that. I saw the show like from when it began in '05, and I watched it till the end. It is as good as its reputation has stated. Like the characters are incredible, the animation is gorgeous, and I do feel I think too many shows in the past decade have tried to be Avatar to their detriment, and oh my god, Frozen 2 is just Avatar.
I haven't seen Frozen 2, so I'll take your word on
Same
it.
here.
And just like Aang, Sokka's Katara, Zuko, like they're classics, and there's some things maybe not so much the show itself, but like the impact it left, I kind of question. But it's a show I hope future generations keep watching, and I really wonder how that Netflix thing is going to go down.
I'm not gonna hold my breath for it because there's some things that are just so perfectly done in animation that you can't recreate. Cough,
Wait,
cough.
they're gonna
right? Yeah.
Netflix wants to redo
original
Avatar?
showrunners. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
They're fired.
Like, the only
No.
concern I really had was that is that even if you do it well, it's just telling the same story. It's nothing different.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Like theoretically, even if they got better actors and like wrote tighter scripts, like it would just be the same thing again. That's just my one concern about it.
Yeah, it's the same reason I'm not a fan of any of the Disney live action remakes. They're like,
Oh yeah.
we know this series. And also, a lot of them are really, really, even for knowing the series, they're really bad. I think the only one I enjoyed somewhat was the Jungle Book one because it was kind of doing a bit of its own thing.
It's just that whenever you reboot a TV show, it's usually you do a different take on it, not just switch to medium. Like one of my current favorites is the DuckTales reboot.
Oh, yeah, that's been pretty good.
Wow. I'm super behind. I did like the live action Beauty and the Beast though.
Have any of you seen on Cartoon Network that Mau Mau Heroes of Pure Heart one?
I have not.
Oh, it's really funny. Yeah, you should check it out.
Even the series after Avatar, The Legend of Korra, I think even they dropped the ball.
I got the DVDs, I just haven't watched them yet. It's kind of the never-ending list of things I need to watch. And
Yep. Oh, no, I was saying I didn't watch too much of Korra because it didn't sit right with me.
gotcha.
I always remembered how one of the main characters on Korra was in Final Destination 5.
Oh, really?
Have you seen that one?
Which one's 5?
The one with the bridge?
No, I didn't see that.
I don't think I saw that one, no.
Well, like the actor who plays Bolin plays a character who like is going. He dies on a massage table. So it's my turn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, for my TV show, I have multiple picks. If we made the comparison with Gravity Falls, I would say I would really recommend the original Twin Peaks, both the original run and the revival they did a few years ago. Like, I know David Lynch is very much an acquired taste, but he didn't write every episode of the original series, and in fact, I think he only did like 5 or 6, and I really can appreciate how it was basically the Kickstarter of the quirky town subgenre in fiction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised just how many things were directly influenced by that. Apparently, the creators of a Game Boy Zelda game took influence from the show.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Which one?
Okay.
Yeah, Link's Awakening, they took inspiration from Twin Peaks.
Okay. Wow. Actually, that sort of makes sense.
And
Yes.
all the cast members do a good job. Like, this made me a fan of Kyle MacLachlan. Ray Wise is pretty good in this. He's one of those things. He's never been like a starring lead, but you'll probably recognize him from places.
Mhm.
And just the atmosphere, like how this is a good mixture of both darker matter yet lighthearted fun. And it's kind of well known that the network forced them to reveal the killer halfway into the second season just as a ratings grab. But even after they did that, I feel like just the performances were strong enough to carry what came afterwards, and both the prequel movie and the like Showtime series from 2017. That's like pure Lynchian madness. Plus or minus, it depends on the person.
I will say, love him or hate him, David Lynch is the master of setting a certain tone.
I will say, at least for the original series, like if you just are thinking about it based on Lynch's reputation, like it's not that incomprehensible. Like I think that element might be of his reputation, at least in regards to this, might be overstated. Like there's weirdness, but there's clearly a through line.
So you're saying it's not him interrogating a monkey for no reason?
No, like a lot of the weirdness of the main character is somebody that is there to like comment on it at least.
Gotcha.
I will say, on a similar token, another show that was very like clearly Twin Peaks inspired to the point at least one episode was a direct homage as Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated.
I just started watching that. So far, that's been really good. From what I hear, that's regularly regarded as the best Scooby-Doo series aside from the original.
Yeah, and especially like in the second season, it gets dark. Like, this is a joke I use. It literally becomes Scooby-Doo with a body count.
Oddly enough, they did make a Scooby-Doo with a body count. That was called Scooby-Doo Apocalypse, and it's weird.
I mean,
Interesting.
they do a lot of like, sure, like the Scooby-Doo franchise has always covered like every generic type of horror monster you can think of, but here they got a lot more specific. They did a Nightmare on Elm Street homage episode. They even did a Saw episode in season 1.
Oh, wow.
And like
Sounds
they
my
have
cup of tea.
some guest stars, like they have Lewis Black as a series regular.
Oh, my gosh.
They have Udo Kier as someone. If you just started, you won't know who he is yet. But I will say, like probably the first half of the first season is when some of the character drama might go on a little too long. But towards the second half of season 1, they work things out and it stays solid for the rest of the series.
So typical first season bumps in the road.
And like even compared to Zombie Island, some of the ways this gets dark, it honestly surprised me they were willing to go there.
Wow. Well, that's the great thing about Scooby-Doo. You can have the ultra goofy pup-named Scooby-Doo or whatever the new series is currently. I haven't watched it.
Too.
Yeah. Or you can have the more serious ones. Except for the live-action movies. We do not speak of the live-action movies.
And on a lighter note, I would also say for TV series binging, my old standby, Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
Can't you get away? Songs can be stuck in my head all day.
That's a
It's funny,
classic.
like,
Oh, yeah.
I can remember like when I was actually a kid in the show's target audience, the show fucking terrified me. Like, just the character designs were like freaky to like little me's mind, and of course I can distinctly remember that the one episode, like maybe the first episode I saw as a kid was like the one meant to be scary one, and
That'll do it.
I have to say Fraggle Rock's soundtrack it holds up really well after over 30 years. Like they did a variety of song types, and some I have fully committed to memory and could probably recite to you verbatim right here, but we don't have the time for that. And like, if you're going to ask me like what kid show probably had the best overall like score, it was either this or Lazy Town.
That's pretty high praise right there.
Yeah. Oh, lazy. Okay. Yep, gotcha.
Somebody just Googled what it was.
No, I didn't actually.
Ah,
My brain kicked in.
ah.
It just reminds me of like one of my favorite like game show clips I ever saw was it was like the UK Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Somebody uses their phone a friend, and then you clearly hear them typing in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, not a real way to regulate that.
Yeah. I think they ended up making it where the person had to be like at the studio or something.
Hmm.
Well, before we move on, I do have to mention one thing that Lynette, who wasn't able to join us today, wanted us to shout out, and it was the anime series
What's an anime? We have much to discuss.
Cells at Work. Now, the way she basically described this is it's an anthropomorphized uh, story about white cells and killer T cells. Basically, think Osmosis Jones, but more serious. It's a recent series that just started in 2018, and it looks like it's going to be getting a second season real soon.
I know my interest peaked.
I'll try to give it a shot sometime.
Mm-hmm. Well, folks, with that being said, it's time to move on to my favorite category of this whole list, and we're going to talk about the underappreciated movies we'd recommend. I'll go first, and the first. That's why we have editing.